Someone offers you $90 an hour as a contractor. Someone else offers $75 as an employee. Instinct says take the 90. But W-2 and 1099 aren't just different paperwork. They're different tax systems, different benefit structures, and different risk. Today, what actually changes between employee and contractor, the tax piece nobody warns you about, and a checklist to compare two offers fairly? If this was never explained to you, that's normal. Quick note, this is general education, not tax or legal advice. Worker classification has legal rules. I'll stick to how the taxes and benefits typically differ. And for your situation, check IRS.gov and a licensed professional. The big idea. W-2 means employee. The employer withholds taxes from your paycheck, pays part of your Social Security and Medicare, and often provides benefits. 1099 means independent contractor or self-employed for tax purposes. You typically get the full payment, then owe income tax and both sides of Social Security and Medicare yourself. Same skill, different plumbing. On a W-2, your employer withholds federal income tax based on your W-4, plus state tax where applicable, plus FICA, Social Security and Medicare, from each paycheck. The employer pays the employer half of FICA. You receive net pay after those withholdings. At tax time, you reconcile, refund or balance due, but you're not usually writing quarterly checks during the year for basic wage income. On a 1099, the payer usually doesn't withhold taxes. You get the gross amount and you're responsible for reporting the income, paying income tax, and handling self-employment tax. Many contractors make quarterly estimated tax payments to avoid a large bill in April. You may also track business expenses that can reduce taxable income if they're ordinary and necessary for the work. Rules are on IRS.gov. Self-employment tax is the big line item people miss. It's roughly 15.3% on net self-employment income, covering Social Security and Medicare on both the employee and employer side. On a W-2, you only see the employee half on your stub. On a 1099, you're carrying both halves yourself, before federal and state income tax. That's why a higher hourly rate can shrink fast. Side by side on taxes. W-2 income has withholding handled by the employer, FICA split, and often simpler year-end filing. 1099 income means you manage cash for taxes, pay self-employment tax, make estimated payments, and track deductible expenses. Contractors can have more flexibility in expenses. Employees generally can't deduct unreimbursed work costs the same way. Both pay income tax. The process is different. But here's what catches people off guard. A higher 1099 rate often isn't higher after self-employment tax, income tax, and missing benefits. A $75 W-2 with health insurance, a 401k match, and paid time off can beat a $90 contract rate once you add the cost of buying those yourself. Compare total compensation, not just the hourly number on the offer. In about a minute, I'll give you the comparison checklist to screenshot. 6 lines to line up before you pick W-2 or 1099 work. But first, what employees get that contractors usually don't? Beyond taxes, W-2 employees often get health insurance, retirement match, paid leave, unemployment insurance, and workers' compensation coverage through the employer. Contractors typically buy their own health coverage, fund retirement themselves, and don't get paid time off. If you don't work, you don't bill. Some contractors earn more to compensate. Some don't. Line up the benefits dollar value before you compare rates. A rough comparison trick, illustrative, not a formula for everyone. If a contract rate is 30 to 40% higher than a W-2 salary for similar work, that might cover self-employment tax and buying your own benefits. Might. It depends on health costs, how much time off you need, and your tax bracket. Use it as a sanity check, not a rule. Fair comparison in 4 passes. 1. Compare gross pay for the same hours. 2. Estimate taxes, withholding plus FICA on W-2, self-employment tax plus income tax on 1099. 3. Add the dollar value of benefits on the W-2 side or the cost to replace them as a contractor. 4. Factor stability, paid time off, and whether you want to run the admin side yourself. 4 passes and you're comparing jobs, not labels. Now, the one thing nobody tells you about quarterly estimated taxes, a big 1099 check feels like success until you realize a chunk was never yours. It was the taxman's. Without quarterly payments, April can deliver a bill plus penalties. The IRS has an estimated tax guide. Set aside a percentage of each payment when it lands, not when the deadline hits. Here's your W-2 versus 1099 checklist. Screenshot this. 1. Gross pay for the same hours. 2. W-2 withholding and FICA versus 1099 self-employment tax plus income tax. 3. Health, retirement match, and PTO on the W-2 side. 4. Cost to replace those benefits as a contractor. 5. Quarterly estimated tax plan if you go 1099. 6. Admin burden. Invoicing, insurance, and time off without pay. That's what W-2 and 1099 actually change. Not just a form at tax time, but withholding, self-employment tax, benefits, and who's responsible when something goes wrong. Compare total comp, not just the rate. If this helped, the free Adulting Starter Kit is in the description. Next up, how credit scores actually work. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and check IRS.gov for your situation.